Alright everybody, welcome back to another epic and awesome video. Everyone loves tier lists, so I figured I would make a tier list with a lot of stuff. Because instead of making a lot of different tier lists, you might as well just make one tier list with a lot of things on it. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, we're going to get started. Alright, our first thing is Payday 3. Payday 3 launched horribly. Is it still horrible? To be honest, yes, because the core problems are still there. It's online only. The skills are fucking terrible, and there's no content, and there's no RNG. And honestly, it's all bad. It's D tier. You shouldn't play it unless you maybe get it on a sale and have literally nothing else to do. Our next item is Canada. Canada is it's to the north of the good old US of A. I've only been there, a couple of times. I've been to Toronto. Um, uh, I've been to whatever that like part on the whatever that part on the right side is called. It's nice. I'm sure Canada's awesome. Uh, I haven't really been there much. Football. As a sport, it blows. I mean, come on. Who cares about football? It sucks to watch, and I was forced to play it because my last name starts with like the end of the alphabet, so I never got to pick the sport that I wanted in middle school, so I always ended up with football, and it fucking sucked, and no one likes football, and it's terrible. If you watch football, I don't know why you do that. Genuinely worthless sport. Next up, we have Eclipse, the mod for Payday. I haven't played it in a while. Um, I haven't played it since it was called Pro Mod, which is a while ago. So I don't really know where to put it. Let's give it a B tier. I think it's probably about as good as Canada. All right, we have Katy Perry next. Katy Perry, she definitely had some bangers. You can't deny that, even if the newer stuff is kind of shit. So really, it's a question between sort of B and C tier. I think realistically, Katy Perry is B tier. Now, Twix is the candy bar, which I would consider pretty good. It's got the chocolate, it's got the caramel, it's got the wafer. Good stuff, hard to complain about. Next up, we have Mexico. Now, I've only been to Mexico twice. Both times were to Cancun, so I haven't really experienced anything. But, Mexico, it's got cartels and probably other things, but I don't know them. So I think it's safe to give Mexico C tier. Next up, we have clarinet, the instrument, which I think is pretty good. Not just because I played it for 9 years, but because clarinet sounds good. It's pretty flexible, and this is just considering B flat clarinet. I'm not considering bass clarinet or E flat clarinet or whatever other version of clarinet. Mainly because I only played B flat. Good instrument, awesome, can't complain. All right, next up we have Geometry Dash Update 1.9. Now I started playing Geometry Dash in 6th grade, which was 2014 to 2015, sometime around there. So whatever update that was is when I started playing. But it's not like I really started playing actively and seriously until I got my laptop, which was in 2016. I still don't know what update that was. I think 2.2 was 27, or not 2.2, but 2.0 was 2017, something like that. Anyway, 1.9 looks beautiful, plays simple. The transitions were all awful. I don't think there was a single level with good transitions in 1.9, but with all due respect, I think it's an A tier update. All right, now we have linear algebra. Linear algebra is definitely a unique math class, but I think that linear algebra by itself is very, very useful, especially since you use it in a lot of physics. It has to do with a lot of computer programming stuff. At least that's my understanding. I'm not a computer programmer. Now, the class itself, I had a kind of shit teacher, so, that was down a point. But linear algebra by itself, I think, is A tier. All right, black tea. We have our first S tier. Black tea is awesome. I'm drinking some right now. Admittedly, not Lipton, but black tea is delicious. I have like 4 cups a day minimum, sometimes more, depending on what's happening. I mean, sometimes less if I'm not home, but I drink a lot of black tea, and it's awesome and great. All right, ellipses. Ellipses, I mainly studied a lot for my thesis because it had to do with elliptical motion of a pendulum. So I got to know a lot about ellipses, and there's a lot of complicated things to them. And they're annoying. There's a whole like new class of functions. And while it is cool, the question is it as cool as Canada or is it as cool as Mexico? I think if it was just a circle, it would be as cool as Canada, but an ellipse is by itself as cool as Mexico. And that might be a little bit weird because, a circle is a type of ellipse, but don't worry about that. All right, next we have Chains from Payday the Heist. Dude, what the hell happened to Chains in Payday the Heist? His voice sounds so bad. Thank God they changed the voice actor. But whatever. Bicycles. I hate bicycles, both riding them and when I'm not riding them. Because when I'm riding them, my ass hurts all the time. And when I'm not riding them, either they come up behind me when I'm walking, which is annoying, or I have to, avoid them in a car, which is also annoying. I fucking hate bicycles. Horrible, terrible, awful. All right, next up we have the UK. Now, I've never been, but I know a lot of people from the UK, and they're cool people. The issue is, I don't know how I feel about the UK technologically. My understanding is that they don't have AC. D tier. All right, next up we have the US of A. Now, yes, everything kind of sucks right now, but you have to look at the positives. We have a good national park system. We have good domestic travel. We have a lot of different types of people, and with that comes a lot of different types of food, and it's cool to eat. C tier. Next up, we're going to move on to Screwdriver. This one specifically is a plus. You can't see it. It's off the screen. But I don't really like them. I mean, sometimes they're required, and they have, magnetization on them, which is useful, but I just, I don't know. I don't like the pluses. They're awkward. Realistically, I'd rather just use a flathead for everything. All right, we have Philosopher's Stone from Slay the Spire, which, I used to think was a pretty good relic because it gave you +1 energy and just gave the enemies +1 strength. But, as I've gotten better, I realize that it's not that good. Specifically, if you're going for the heart. I think if I wasn't going for the heart, I would take Philosopher's Stone more often, but the heart has it has the big attack, and then it has the small attack, but for a lot. And so that means that either on turn 2 or turn 3, you'd be facing 1/15, or with Philosopher's Stone 2/15, and with Vulnerable Philosopher's Stone 3/15, which is, I mean, if you can just not take Philosopher's Stone and avoid, 15 damage, I mean, that's good. I think Philosopher's Stone causes more problems than it fixes when it comes to going for the heart. But I still think it's C tier, about as good as the US and Mexico. And next up we have the Flathead Screwdriver. I love flatheads. Flathead screwdrivers are awesome. I think I'd put it on the tier with Katy Perry and Eclipse and Canada. All right, we have our next S tier, My Dog. She may be a little bit racist, and she may be a little bit stupid, but I love her, and she's awesome. Yes, great dog. Love her. All right, next up we have the Euler Identity, which is e to the I pi +1 = 0. It's definitely a cool equation, but I think it's a little bit overhyped by like pop math, and all the whatevers and whatnots. It's good that people are getting into math, like who aren't mathematicians, but e to the I pi plus 1 equals 0 is a little bit overrated. That said, it is useful. I won't give it. I think it's either low A or high B. And I guess when I'm comparing it to these, I think I would take e to the I pi over Canada, so I think I'd give it A tier. All right, Pyraminx. Pyraminx is a very annoying puzzle. I'm going to put it in D tier. It's not quite F tier, but, it's kind of awkward to hold. All the algorithms are lame, and these corners, I mean, they just suck to turn, and then you have to complete them. I don't know, it's stupid. All right, Terraria. Terraria, the game. Definitely our next S tier. I've been playing Terraria since 1.1, and it's great. I mean, really, there's only a couple of things that I would change. I think it's a fantastic game. Definitely worth playing. That said, the Reforged system kind of blows. And I'm a summoner main. And summons, we don't have our Reforges either. So I guess that's another problem with Reforges. Reforging is all kind of shit in the game, to be honest. But other than that, pretty cool, pretty cool. All right, we have Brimstone from The Binding of Isaac. I can't deny its power. It's very strong. But I don't really like, holding and then releasing to fire. I'd much rather, just kind of hold in the direction of enemies rather than hold and release. So realistically, it probably is A, but I think for the fact that it's kind of annoying for me to use, it's B tier. All right, the Amcar from Payday 2. I mean, it's C tier. It's honestly nothing special. It's just the first weapon you get. The stats are kind of shit. Not to say that you can't make it good. It's just, why would you really bother unless you're trying to be like a cool hipster? Whatever. Lion's Roar, I think is B tier. I used to really like it before it got mega buffed, because now when you use it, people see you and they're like, "Ugh, Lion's Roar," as opposed to before when you would use it and people would be like, "What gun is that? I've never even seen that before." So yeah, that makes me a little sad. In the earlier updates, maybe I would have put an A, but now it's B tier. All right, Chains Payday 2. Chains Payday 2 is B tier. Definitely a significant improvement over Chains Payday the Highest. But, I mean, I don't really play Chains for a reason, and that's because I think he's fine. He's okay. All right, next up we have Minecraft. Minecraft, I think, is a D tier game. It's just not very good. I think it's good if you like sandboxes, but if you like games where gameplay happens, Minecraft is pretty terrible. Because, I mean, the progression is non-existent and terrible, and all of it's bad. I found Minecraft to be really, really boring. Yes. All right, next up we have Solo Leveling. Now, the first season was okay, nothing remotely interesting. The second season was unwatchable. Genuinely, there is no purpose in the rest of the series, so it's going to go into F tier. The same with the 6x6. The 6x6 cube is annoying because it can have double parity. Because 4x4 has parity, or not just double parity, it can have even more. The 4x4 has edge and corner parity. Or no, that's not the technical term. Basically, it can have parity on OLL, and it can have parity on PLL. But the 5x5 has edge parity. The 6x6 has edge parity when you're putting it together, and then it has OLL and PLL parity. It's miserable. 3 parity algorithms in one solve, and the 6x6 is already big, so it's just annoying. I hate it. Unceasing Top, D tier relic. I think it definitely has its strength, but it's either the kind of thing that you can't use, and then you forget about it, or it's like you do use and it's just annoying. I don't like Unceasing Top, and it's also a rare relic, so it takes up like a spot of a good relic. Come on. Embarrassing. All right, the 3x3 easily goes into S tier. Nice and quick. Holds well. Not too big, not too small. Good stuff. All right, cows. Cows, I think, are C tier. They're kind of lame. Nothing too much exciting about them. They do give milk. And milk is used in a lot of cool recipes, but the animal itself is whatever. Glacier National Park, I think, is an S tier. If you are interested in nature, you definitely should go to Glacier. Glacier's got fantastic mountains. I will say parking is limited. There's not enough parking. So if you do go to Glacier, make sure to wake up early and then show up before all the parking is full. Supposedly you should bring bear spray, but we never saw any bears when we were there. We did see a lot of other cool animals. There's like mountain goats and like cows just walking around. And also the roads to get across the park are like 80-mile-per-hour roads, so you're just cruising fast. It's a great experience. Now, Yosemite is a B tier national park. Unless you really like waterfalls, it does everything worse than Glacier, except parking. Yosemite has a lot of parking. That's definitely not a concern like it is with Glacier. The Chrysler 300. I haven't driven that many cars, but out of the ones I've driven, I think the Chrysler is D tier, or specifically the 300. The first thing that infuriates me is the transmission. The transmission is a knob rather than a stick. A stick is perfect. I don't know what the issue with the stick was that they decided to change it. But it's just annoying to use. Other than that, the car feels unresponsive, and not unresponsive, but it doesn't like to accelerate. You know, if you want to get the car moving, not even accelerate, it doesn't want to move, right? The car doesn't want to move. If you want it to move at all, you have to be pressing like the gas pretty hard. Other cars I've driven, like, you know, you give it a little bit of gas and then it starts to roll. But like whatever the automatic braking is on the 300, it makes driving such a miserable experience. I don't like it. All right, analytical mechanics is S tier. I mean, it's just a lot of fun applications of math into physics. What is there a complaint about? Which next up, electricity, also S tier. I don't think I need to explain that one. Electricity is pretty awesome. Euler-Mascheroni constant. It's okay. I don't really know what it's used for. It's like a summation between a natural log and I believe 1 over n. I don't know. I mean, who really cares? It's not. I don't even know who Mascheroni is. But it's a constant. It's probably fine. It probably has some use somewhere. Whatever. All right. Allen keys or hex wrenches or whatever you want to call them. Honestly, these are A tier. They're so much fun to use. You really feel like you're like cranking down whatever you're using. Multivariable calculus. For the same reason that analytical mechanics is S tier, multivariable calculus is S tier. New York City, F tier. I mean, it sucks. First off, the entire city smells like weed. Second off, the entire city's full of people and cars. And it's like if you want to walk somewhere, you get hit by a car or you get stuffed by another person. Third, if you go anywhere in like touristy areas, get ready to hear that one in New York song. If you've been to New York, you know the one I'm talking about because you've heard it 1,000 times. New York is miserable. It's dirty. It's smelly. Everything about it is bad. I don't know why anyone would ever want to go there. It's horrible. Hammers. I used to like hammers more in the past, but as of recent, whenever I really need to like nail something in, I just take like a screwdriver or something and I just use the back of it. I've never really needed a hammer, but it's still kind of fun to swing around, so I think it's fair to give it a C tier. Wolves. Wolves, I think, are a very cool animal. Not quite A tier, but B tier. They're so big. They're so much bigger than you'd think. And then their mouths, they chomp so hard. I remember watching this one video of like a guy like throwing food to a husky and then a guy throwing food to a wolf. And I mean, you can hear the chomps. It is such a cool animal. But not A tier. I wouldn't say that it's as good as Geometry Dash Update 1.9. Brimstone from Slay the Spire. Now this one, I would have to put on the same level as Isaac Brimstone. because it's really fun. That said, it's really dangerous. This one is even worse if you're going for the heart, because Brimstone, for every turn, your enemy gains 1 strength, and then you gain 2 strength. So it's like you're scaling faster than your enemies, technically. But the heart, I mean, you do not want to give it scaling. It already scales fast, it already kills fast, and all of the other enemies are also going to get so much harder. But it's definitely a fun relic to play with. Alright, Bon Jovi. I don't really like the music. The music is kind of bad. That said, I hear he's a good person. So, it's kind of between these to me. Let's see. I mean, would I compare him more to a cow or to a Chrysler 300? I think, honestly, he's more like a Chrysler 300 than a cow. So, I'll put him in D tier. We can move on to the Toyota Sienna, which I think is C tier. There we go. Perfect. Placed it right where it needed to be. This is a minivan. I think it's a bit unwieldy, and I don't like where the armrests are, so it's kind of annoying to drive. It's also very smooth, weirdly smooth, uncomfortably smooth. So I don't really like that. Yeah. Engineer. I think engineer's okay, but I mean compared to the other classes, who cares? Engineer, realistically, D tier. Most of his weapons fucking suck. If not suck stat-wise, then suck to play. So, yeah, bad. Alright, Rogue perk deck in Payday 2 is just B tier. I mean, it doesn't do much special. It's just kind of whatever. That said, if you're looking for something simple and straightforward, perfect pick. Also, if you're good at the game. If you're bad at the game, Rogue will teach you bad things. It'll teach you how to survive in things that you shouldn't be surviving, and then you're going to take that to other decks, and then you're going to die, and then you're going to be like, man, this fucking sucks. I'm going back to Rogue. So it will trap you. But if you're already good at the game, Rogue is fantastic. Guitar, I don't really like because it has a very piercing sound. So it can be used very well to highlight things. I think it's D tier. It can be used very well to highlight things, but by itself, just listening to guitar kind of hurts my ears. The Grand Canyon, another national park here, and I think it's fair to put in B tier. The Grand Canyon is very beautiful. When you look at it, it's amazing. The issue is, it's kind of really all there is to do with it. I've gone hiking, but there's not much to hike for it. It's all kind of the same view. And also, hiking it's like you walk down a hill for 4 hours, and then you walk up a hill for 4 hours, because you have to go back home. And it's not like you're going to reach the bottom. People do hike all the way down to the bottom, but it takes days. And then they have to hike all the way back. And I've seen people with donkeys there moving all their stuff. I'm a leg hiker, so I'd rather just walk. Okay, chickens. Now, despite the fact that this is chicken the animal, I'm actually talking about chicken the food, which I think is C tier. Honestly, maybe low B tier. Low B tier or high C tier. I think it's fair to say that chickens are a lot more similar to chains in Payday 2 than the Euler Mascaroni constant. They're very basic. They're default. It's kind of like the default protein. They're cheap. I mean, it's chicken. Everyone's had chicken. You know what it's about. Wolf in Payday 2. Wolf, I mean, he's missing some voice lines. And when those voice lines have to come up, it does sound a little bit weird. But he's fine, honestly. Not one of the bad characters, not one of the good characters. I'd put him in the same tier as Chains. Now, Gremlin Horn. Gremlin Horn is fantastic. I love Gremlin Horn so much. It helps with common fights, especially if you get it early on into the game. It'll help breeze through hallways. It helps with some elites. It helps with some bosses. I mean, really, what is there to complain about Gremlin Horn? Gremlin Horn's awesome. Gunner, I think, is S tier. Although the variety of weapons isn't great, what there is, being the minigun and volatile bullets bulldog, so much fun. Most fun build in DRG by far and away. He's also extremely strong. Overall, just a really, really fun class to play. It is the one that you should be playing if you play DRG. Forget every other fucking class. Just play 4 gunners and you're going to win everything anyway. All right, this is the Tesla Model 3, which I have driven once, and I think it's okay. My problem with it is that, well, one of my problems with it is that everything's controlled by the screen. The screen fucking sucks. Just let me control the car like a normal person, please. Not this stupid shit. Other than that, I think it's a little bit weird how if you hold, like on a gas car, actually I don't know if it's a gas car, maybe it's just a Tesla thing, but on the other cars I've driven, if you hold nothing, the cars will move forward slowly. On a Tesla, it doesn't do that. If you don't touch anything, it just stands still, which made it a little bit shaky when I had to drive it, because I'd be trying to like give it a little bit of gas so that it would accelerate or so that it would back out of where I was trying to back out of, and then it moves, and since I let go of the pedal, it stops immediately, and then it's like I did that, and I was like bouncing everyone in the car. But once it gets going, then it gets going. In general, I don't think I'm a fan of sedans. It's okay. It's okay car. And then Elon Musk sucks. So, I mean, come on. All right, 2.2, honestly, F tier update. First off, it took like 47 years to come out. And then everything it added sucks. The visual triggers make levels impossible to play. Platformer mode sucks. The swing game mode is worse than the one that was player made. Genuinely, I don't know a single redeeming factor about 2.2. It added more random shit that you have to unlock through orbs. Like, there's already so much to unlock in the game that players are never going to get to because it requires so much investment. And 2.2 just added more. Terrible, awful, horrible update. Should never come out. What was the point? All right, Lady Gaga. You have to put Lady Gaga in S tier. Every song she's made is a banger. They just all are, to different degrees, of course, but they're all bangers. Everyone is an instant classic. Hard to complain about Lady Gaga. Driller, I think, goes one spot below Gunner, because he's definitely fun to play, but not as fun, because a lot of Driller sort of has to do with just kind of holding M1 toward enemies, like Flamethrower, Cryo Cannon, and Sludge. They're all basically the same. The TCF on the EPC is really fun and really strong, and also requires timing, so there's a little bit of element of skill to it, but Gunner is just more fun, so I don't think it's fair to put them in the same tier. Update 2.0 was weird. It introduced moving stuff, which made levels... all the levels that came out in 2.0 were like, we have to make everything move, which made gameplay just impossible and buggy. And also the decoration, especially from like early 2.0, is just painful to look at. It's just so bad. It's definitely not as good of an update as 1.9. It's definitely not as bad of an update as 2.2. I think it's a C tier update. It's fine. It's sort of the movement of Geometry Dash into the creation era, I guess. Maybe, I guess I'll call it the effect era. Oh, that sounds fancy. All right, next up we have Steak. Steak, S tier. How could you not love Steak? It's awesome. No need to explain anything there. Carrots, honestly, B tier. I think their flavor is kind of lacking, but I mean, all vegetables are. They're not exactly interesting. That said, they're fun to hold. They're fun to peel. Yeah, they're fine. All right, Dallas, Payday 2. I think he's a little bit more iconic than these two, so I have to put him in A tier. But, I don't play him. I prefer other characters. No, S tier. All right, we have the Nissan Rogue. Not this one, but I drive a 2013 Nissan Rogue. And I think it's fair to maybe put in low A tier or high B tier. It's a good car. I like everything about it, but maybe that's also because I'm sunk costed in. That might be why. I think it's fair to put it in B tier. All right, now Carrot 2, the second channel. Honestly, A tier. Everything I release is either the worst video I've ever made or the best video I've ever made, which is awesome. And it's low quality, and it's also sometimes too high quality for what it should be, and it's terrible, and it's good. It's a little bit of everything. Everyone loves Carrot 2, right? All right, peppermint tea, straight to F. Peppermint tea sucks. Peppermint is bad by itself. Put it in tea, you made tea worse. Rough. Okay, Las Vegas, A tier. I didn't go there to gamble. I just kind of went there to look at stuff and also to go see a Cirque du Soleil show. It was awesome. I mean, Las Vegas itself is like a big theme park. You just kind of look around stuff, see everything. There's like a bunch of attractions. And by attractions, I mean like thingies to look at. The attractions themselves, I mean, you have to pay for all of them. I didn't gamble. Gambling's fucking stupid. I honestly don't get it. And then the Cirque du Soleil show was awesome. No complaints there. All right, Ironclad. Ironclad, I have a lot of fun with. He's definitely A tier. I don't think it's as good as these, but I would say that Ironclad is about as good as Linear Algebra. It's the character that I have the most heart kills on, and it's the one that I honestly am trying the hardest on. The other characters I'm not that interested in. Modern Physics, I think, is B tier. Although it is modern physics, the issue with modern physics is that it's very disjoint. In the in like the mid 1900s, there were a lot of advancements being made. Early to mid 1900s, there was a lot of advancements in physics being made in all sorts of different fields, especially after quantum mechanics were sort of put together, which led to a lot of different effects in modern physics that were explained. But the end result is that a lot of stuff just doesn't feel very connected, and the fun part of physics is to see how everything connects, at least for me. But there are a lot of experiments that are cool. Modern physics, I think it's fair to call it a B tier, about as good as Brimstone. It's about as good as both Brimstones. Leonard Euler, I think it's fair to call him S tier. He's the GOAT. Every mathematician knows him, every mathematician loves him, and there's good reason for that. Pianos are also S tier. While I can't play piano myself, if there was an instrument I want to play, it's piano. It sounds great. It's so flexible. Yeah, I mean, what is there to complain about a piano? It's great. Awesome. Baseball, also F tier. I mean, come on, what a boring fucking sport. You have one person hitting the ball, and then like two other people run sometimes on the offensive team. On the defensive team, a lot of people just kind of standing there hoping the ball comes toward them. Fucking awful sport. Who spends their time watching that? Embarrassing. Yeesh. 5x5 goes into S tier, along with the 3x3. I think I like them about equally. Sometimes when I think that the 3x3 takes me a little bit too fast, the 5x5 fills that, and it also only has one type of parity, unlike the 6x6 and other things. So it's fun to use. Horses, I think it would be just disingenuous to put them in A tier. I think they're B tier. I think I respect them as an animal, but more interestingly, I think they're really funny. Just everything about horses is funny. I've ridden horses a couple times. I mean, they're fine. Kind of annoying, bouncy. It's kind of whatever. They're really more there for their humor value than anything else. Mr. Beast, F tier. I years and years ago, back when Mr. Beast did channel intro reviews, that's when I found him. And I was like, this is cool, this is fun. And now he does just slop, unwatchable slop. Why is he always yelling? Why are there words flashing on the screen? Why is everything edited every half second? I mean, it's miserable, it's unwatchable. And it's ruined YouTube because everyone wants to be like Mr. Beast. Just horrible. Awful. France. Honestly, I have nothing against France. I've never been there. I don't really know anyone from there. We'll just call it B tier. Is it? Let's see. I mean, would I compare it to the US or would I compare it to Canada? Let's give it the benefit of the doubt that it's better than the US. Not a lot of things are worse. All right, Twizzlers. F tier. No one likes Twizzlers. One time, my mom told me we have Twix, and then it turned out to be Twizzlers, and I was so upset. Yeah. Green tea, I think, is B tier, honestly. It's a little bit too weak for my taste, but it definitely has good flavors. Pillows are also B tier. I find pillows sometimes to be more annoying than they are useful. So, yeah, I mean, go figure. I'm a stomach sleeper, so really I just use pillows to put together a rest for me to sleep on, rather than actually what I'm sleeping on. Because when I turn around and I'm on my back, the pillows, they're just kind of uncomfortable. I feel like I'm lifted way too high, weirdly. All right, electricity and magnetism. I don't think it's S tier physics, definitely A tier. There's a lot of cool stuff that connects. That said, it is kind of a lot of the same thing. You're just kind of like integrating over a surface or a volume. It's kind of it. That said, cool stuff. Always fun to learn, especially when you actually learn about like how magnets work. That stuff's real cool. All right, the carrot channel. Realistically B tier. A lot of like the first videos, like the first 30 or something, are just like shit gameplay. Like, who cares? Why would anyone even watch that? Why did anyone watch me in the beginning? The answer is they didn't. People only watched the Beecroft videos, and then from there I made real content rather than the dog shit gameplay I made. Who fucking cares? AK-17. I think it's C tier, sort of for the opposite reason of the Amcar. The AK-17 is so overused and it's so strong. It's just so lame. It's such a good weapon. Whenever I see it, it's like, oh, you didn't even try. Come on, just try. At least try. Whatever. Terraria Otherworld. This is a game that didn't actually come out for one reason or another. I think the reason was that it would just be too similar to original Terraria. So, I can't really rate this. But I the only piece that I have from it is that the music is in Terraria. And the music is good. But, just basing it off the music, you can't really do much. So, C tier. Giraffes. Giraffes are S tier. They're the best animal. Look at them. They're so silly. They're so cool. And they're so big. When you see a giraffe in real life, they're so cool. Love them. Love giraffes. Okay. Next up. Capitalism. F tier. I don't feel the need to explain. There's so many issues with capitalism. It's terrible. It's terrible for the environment. It's terrible for people. Really, it only benefits the rich, and that's only until they destroy the environment, and then we all die. Good stuff. Soccer. Soccer is the only team sport that I like, and even then I don't like it that much. I think it's fair to put it in A tier. Definitely not S tier. It's a fun sport. The better football. We can call it that. All right, next we have the Euler characteristic. Definitely not as cool as the Euler identity. Would I say that it's as cool as, like, a carrot? Is it more like a carrot or more like a hammer? Honestly, it's more like a hammer. So let's call it C tier. In case you don't know this one, this is that the vertices minus the edges plus the faces of a shape equal 2. It's pretty cool, but, come on, what are you going to use it for? They're kind of the same as the Euler-Mascheroni constant, now that I think about it. Perfect. Garfield Kart. Garfield Kart, this is for the DS, but I've played only the PC version, both games, actually. And it's fun, but it runs kind of like shit. I'd love to play more, especially with the new one supposedly coming out. So, I think it's fair to call it B tier, if all of the things can be improved on it in the next game. So, we'll have to see. Preserved Insect, A tier. It's just great for hunting elites. Elites are how you get stronger. And Preserved Insect will hurt them. It honestly doesn't do as much as you'd think, because, toward, the end of the game, it does, 50 damage, which you can do in, a turn. But it's also 50 damage that you didn't need to do and was just done. So, hard to complain about. Good stuff. All right, we have the Philosopher's Stone in Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, which I think it's fair to call D tier, because you have to, kill a bunch of people to get it, which is no bueno. And then Father over here uses it, and he becomes, really strong, and he kills everyone, and then it's bad for everyone, and it's a bad time. Probably not good. All right, next up we have Chicago. Chicago is like New York if it was good. And I don't just say that because I've lived near Chicago my whole life. I say that just because it is. Now, you still have the whole, ugly city that smells like shit, but it doesn't have the other problems that New York has. So really, they're basically the same. I think it's a C-tier city. Definitely worth coming to. You should visit it. We have, Navy Pier. We have the Willis/Sears Tower/ whatever the fuck they call it now. It's a cool city. Just don't drive in. Get your own on train. Save yourself some headache. Okay, this is the Philosopher's Stone from Fullmetal Alchemist 2003, which I haven't watched. I can only imagine it's about the same. So realistically, D tier, probably. I don't know. Maybe I'll figure that out one day when I watch it. Maybe. All right, next up we have quantum mechanics. Quantum mechanics is really more math than physics, to be honest. But definitely, I think it's A tier. There's a lot of really fun stuff in it, and right here it works a lot with linear algebra. It's very, very linear algebra heavy, which was cool. Eclipses, just like the physical ones. I've seen 2 eclipses, not total. I never bothered to go out into their path, but 2 eclipses just kind of happened to pass over me. That was the 2017 one and the 2024, I think. Either 24 or 23. But I did see both of those. They're very cool. Just a cool event, honestly. But until I'm in the zone of totality, I don't think it's fair to put it above C. You know, I haven't truly experienced eclipses. Heroin. Now, I haven't experienced heroin either, but supposedly it's really awesome. So awesome that people get addicted to it. That said, I think I would not get addicted to it. If I ever had the opportunity, I think I would try heroin, and then I just wouldn't get addicted to it because, I mean, come on, getting addicted to shit. Fucking cringe. That wouldn't happen to me. I would hit it. It would probably feel awesome, and then I'd, leave and go do other stuff. UAR. Now, the UAR is kind of my, variety pick now. It's like all other 60 damage rifles, but people don't use it because, I mean, all the other rifles are there. So, I think it's fair to put it in B tier. It's nothing exciting, but it's cool, it's cute. It does have some nice skins. I've given them all away, though, to Leif. He took my entire inventory, except the AMCARs. So, it's a cool gun. Definitely use the UAR more. All right, Gauss. Gauss is also my GOAT. He's like the number 2 person behind Euler. And in physics, he's maybe number 1. Definitely top 5. I'd have to think about it. Beaches. Beaches, I hate beaches. D tier. Really, the only thing I like about beaches are the sounds from the waves, but I hate sand and I hate water. And it's also usually hot, at least to all the beaches I've been. Meh. Honestly, I don't really like beaches. They're bad. Philosopher's Stone in Terraria. By itself, I think it's B tier, but it combines with the Band of Regen to create the Charm of Myths, which would definitely put it in A tier, because that is such a good survival item. So if it didn't craft that, B tier, but it does craft that, so A tier. And then last up, our item number 100, Geometry Dash 2.1. I think that this was the best Geometry Dash update. Right here, we'll put it all the way up to the top in S tier. 2.1 is the first update that took a while, like truly a while, because 2.0, I mean, people waited for it for a while. I think that was like a year or 2 something. It's really not that much. 2.1 took a while. With it came the spider and a bunch of decorations and a bunch of like new icons and whatever. But it didn't really like upend the game, and it didn't take that long to release. I think 2.1 is where all of the classics are. Not like classics, like true classics, like 9 Circles, Acropolis. Those are all 1.9. But 2.1 is where you have a good balance of decent game, like people know how to make gameplay with good transitions, and people know how to make decoration that doesn't suck, and people know not to use moving objects for every little bit of gameplay. I think it was the best. So yeah, okay, this is my tier list of a bunch of things, of 100 random things. So if you want to know how I feel about something, here you go. Here's the tier list. This is how I feel about it. Okay, thank you. Bye.